Live from Death Valley, the Bruins fall 34-17 to LSU. A valiant effort, but still some struggles remain with lots of improvement here on Locked On UCLA.
You are Locked On UCLA, your daily podcast on the UCLA Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, everybody, to Baton Rouge. It's Zach Anderson-Yoxsimer live on the Locked On UCLA podcast. As you can see here in Death Valley, beautiful, very sunny, if you can see on the camera. Gorgeous backdrop, very hot and toasty afternoon. The Bruins, they're up to the challenge the first half, right? They go down, they get down 7-0. Third consecutive game where the opposition's opening drive ends in a touchdown. But this time, the Bruins, for the first time all year, respond with the touchdown, take a lead after some ego play from Brian Kelly and the Tigers early in the first half. After they went for it 4th and long near midfield, the Bruins took advantage. LSU took the lead back, but UCLA marched back and scored 2 touchdowns in the first half. Their first game all season with 2 touchdowns in a game, which was huge, right? They go into halftime. They're tied 17-17, much better than anybody could have predicted for the Bruins in this game. But as the game wore on, the big problems really decided to rear their ugly head, which is the inability for the offense to pass protect, and most importantly, the defense's inability to get to Garrett Nussmeier. They could not stop him to save their lives, and most importantly for the Bruins, they showed a lot of small victories, right? And for me, it was, all right, let's get a little bit of a running game going. And while the numbers are really, really minuscule, if you look at the numbers, I don't have them in front of me, obviously I'm in the stadium, but they're really minuscule. But a lot of it had to do with the sacks, to bring those yards back. And a good portion of those runs in the second half looked good in the first half. And Garbers made some nice plays, right? Stepped in the pocket, faced the pressure, took the hits, and made some nice throws, including one on 3rd and goal from the 12 with time ticking down before the end of the first half. So great throws on him. Yes, he threw a pick, but the pick was him with the Bruins down 14, trying to make a play after a holding call. So that wasn't on him. But large in part, UCLA, they showed some fight. They showed some heart. They played a lot better. I think LSU, they clearly were the better team in this one. Probably a little overrated to say the most, but they ended up being the better team, right? In the second half, when it was tied, UCLA got stopped near midfield. 2 90-plus yard drives for the Tigers, where they ended up eating the clock, chewing it down, just wearing the Bruins down. One of the key plays for the Bruins near midfield, 3rd and 10. One of those plays where the defense was calling signals, forces the offense to false start. And then next thing you know, it's a 3rd and 5. They pick it up, first down. Then when they're up 7, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, they pick it up, hit the tight end who's wide open. And that really did it for LSU today. They ended up winning by 17. The Bruins, they looked a lot better, right? That's the big thing. They scored. The defense made a couple of plays. They forced a punt. Technically should have been 2 if LSU didn't go for it on 4th and long from midfield in a situation where you probably wouldn't go for it. The Bruins picked it up on 4th down early in the game. I'm very proud of what this UCLA team did today. Now, the second half was more of a cause for concern, but we knew those struggles coming into this game. In the end, it was a hot, toasty atmosphere. It wasn't the rowdiest LSU crowd you could see. The tailgate was fun. All the fans were extremely nice for the most part. But most importantly, UCLA had an opportunity to compete in this game. And quite frankly, in the first halves of games against Hawaii and most definitely against Indiana, the Bruins were non-competitive. That was the complete opposite in this game, with everybody downing them. They're 24-point underdogs to open the week, close to 21 points. And if you're about over-unders, it could have gone. Nobody really picked the Bruins to cover, but they did today with moving parts going forward. So I am disappointed, but I think in a weird disappointment, right? Because expecting UCLA to compete, be tied at halftime with the ball coming out of the second half, that's nothing anybody would have expected in this game. Now, in the second half, when they couldn't move the ball, when they had the weird play, down 7, marching the ball down, they had 1st and 10, chop block negates that. Then they do this weird 2nd and long play where they fumble it back to the 50, and you're like, what are you doing? That really killed the game there, and any shot for winning the game when the Bruins try to get too fancy, too cute, and that killed their offensive momentum in this game today. So I'm proud of what UCLA did. They're going to have to go back and find new ways to get pressure. Remember, they're without Keanu Williams. They're without a starting receiver. And overall, the Bruins did a lot of good things for what the Bruins were able to do in this game. As we continue on with the pod, as they're kicking us all out here at Tiger Stadium, the Bruins, a lot of good things, a lot of positives, still plenty of negatives. They move forward. The schedule doesn't get any easier. You get to play Oregon coming up next. You get to play Penn State on the road in a couple of weeks. And overall, the Bruins, there were some positives in this one. So I'm excited for the future, right? When I talked about small victories earlier in the week, the Bruins showcased some of that. It wasn't going to come in the form of a victory, but in the end, the Bruins took those steps forward, showcased what they can do in the pass game. They showcased that they could score a couple of points against the defense that was a little vulnerable on the road in a hostile environment in a hot day where nobody thought they could compete. They competed for 30 minutes. A week after, they didn't compete from the opening snap. I'm excited about that as a UCLA fan. I think that should be positive moving forward. I know the most negative UCLA fan will say, well, LSU's overrated, yada, yada, yada. Get out of here. They were meant to lose. But I'm going to take the positive. All right, they lost. They fall to 1-2. They're going to get better. But great to see how UCLA marched on, made things happen, and it's going to be fun, crazy environments, and maybe they can surprise Oregon, showcase a little bit better things against the Ducks who are on a bye. And with Penn State and everything, it'll be intense. But the Bruins schedule, it's going to be up to them to try and figure out how to handle the pressure. So I'm excited, but there's still a lot to deal with for this UCLA team going forward. So in the end, lots to work on, and we'll talk more. Some positives I liked. I like TJ Harden with some runs. I like Keegan Jones running the ball. Those are things the Bruins weren't able to utilize despite their rushing numbers in this game. The more and more I think about it and everything. So what the Bruins able to do to run the ball, maybe find some positives. But again, it's going to come back down to, can they keep Garbers upright? Can he make smart decisions, which he did, score a couple of touchdowns, but they found the way to run the ball. Not so consistently. LSU was able to do what they wanted, mostly on defense once they figured the Bruins out. But the Bruins found some positives. And I think in future weeks, when teams probably aren't as good as protecting the quarterback like LSU is, and UCLA can maybe dial up a blitz, force a turnover here and there, maybe not have the DBs be as grabby, not have as many penalties in crucial moments of the game, because other than the Hawaii game, this is the first game in like 3 weeks for the Bruins where it was close in the middle stretch. It wasn't close against Indiana. You had the bye week. So stuff to clean up, which is positive, right? We could have come on here and been talking about, man, they got waxed by 40, they got waxed by 30. But I'm going to look at the positives because in the end, I think most UCLA fans are kind of proud. I'm proud of how they performed, especially for the first half. Now, to put forth a full 60-minute effort, UCLA has not done that. They've done the second half against Hawaii, none of the Indiana game, and the first half against LSU. I can't wait to see what this Deshaun Foster-led team can do when they put forth a 60-minute effort when it comes to clean games, no penalties, when it comes to a clean pocket mostly for Garbers, because he will get sacked. That's the nature of the game. When he has a clean pocket, and then for UCLA overall, when you have a defense that can generate some pressure, gets a little healthier, right? This is a defense that was without Ale Cajo today, without Keanu Williams. That's a couple of starters. They haven't played with Gary Smith III. The Bruins are without a starting receiver, so we saw some young wideouts today making some plays. Guys made some plays. The defense just blew a couple of coverages in key moments, but in the end, the Bruins fall to LSU, the team that was favored, and there wasn't a lot of positivity riding in for the Bruins this week. But I'm excited about what's to move forward. They do fall to 1-2, and we'll have a full grade reaction once I get back in Baton Rouge or maybe in Louisiana, whatever it is. We'll have a full digested thought. Hit me in the comments with your thoughts. Tell me what you think. The game day experience is really fun. It's really hot. The fans really nice. All the tailgates I ran into, whether it was Jeremy, whether it was Doug, whether it was good old J-Lo from UCLA, Heather, all these people that we ran into in the tailgate, super, super fun. It was a great atmosphere. Was it a sellout? No, it's all around. Like, here's my thought, kind of taken away from the game. People left at halftime. So all these people who give us crap for leaving the Rose Bowl early, that's what they did here at LSU when it was a little bit hot. They were leaving at halftime. They knew what was going on. So they left early. So don't let anybody make fun of UCLA fans again, right? There are other jaded fan bases out there, even if they're winning, that have all the money in the world and everything, right? They're very hospitable, but don't let UCLA fans, don't let people talk bad to you if you leave early if there's not as many. Because it wasn't a sellout today. It was a great crowd. Don't get me wrong. UCLA would love to have it, but it was a great atmosphere tailgating-wise. Second to pretty much none, I've been to some of the best. Two, they're just as jaded as we are as UCLA fans. So it's fun to see that it happens all across the country, regardless of the expectations, how much you pay your coach. First year, long-time head coach, they're just as jaded. But the people here, super nice, super respectful, hardly any, suck that tiger, you know what, if you know that chant. They're really nice. So I thank you for all the people who are here at the tailgate. If you're watching or listening, thank you for the hospitable treatment. It's been fun here in NOLA. I can't wait to get back to the Rose Bowl next week when the Bruins take on the Ducks. I only have one hand, so I'm going to do a little A-clap, baby. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, UCLA. UCLA, fights. Maybe you want to catch the Bruins on the road to Game Time, to find them playing wherever. Well, go to Game Time. You can find tickets. Tickets for this game were dropping as we spoke to the last minute. Game Time can filter through many deals to the last minute. Go check out Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked On College, and go check out the Bruins in the Rose Bowl next week. Go check them out in Penn State if you're going to go on a crazy long football dream road trip, right? Game Time is the place to be. What time is it? It's game time. Well, that's going to be it for this reaction edition of Locked On UCLA. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Zach Anderson-Yoxsimer saying the Bruins fought hard, valiantly, lots of improvements, lots of sign to be positive about. They kept it close, much closer than people expected to be, even myself, maybe other pundits as well, even these LSU fans. But most importantly, they showed some grit, some tenacity, but there are things that need to work on, which we already knew was the case. So stay tuned for more reaction, more Locked On UCLA. This is Zach signing off. Go Bruins.